Hi everyone, thank you for joining me. My name is Lesley Donaldson. This is a video that I recorded a little while ago during an author Facebook takeover event. I hope you enjoy the story. If you do, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be putting more videos up of short stories and other things during the year. Without any further ado, let's jump into Inside Voices. And the story that I'm going to read to you is from my collection of flash fiction and short stories called Inside Voices, which you can get at writerlesleydonaldson.com/free. I, of course, am Lesley Donaldson. Seek and ye shall find. Why are the most powerful spells a spin on Latin? That's the first question seekers ask. The smarmy ones, the people who know everything, point out that Latin wasn't the first language of spellcasters. Smartasses like that wave about their forged copy of Nestor's translations, which they swear was an authenticated eBay purchase of the original, as they brandish their hard-earned knowledge. He, she, or they, because gullibility doesn't discriminate, believes themselves better prepared than the ones who came before and failed. Failure is not an option if a seeker wants to survive. The caretaker tells the seekers that, of course, they're correct, as if he's never heard the comment before. He dutifully shuffles in his way across the worn granite floor to the receiving room, hoping silently that the know-it-alls will trip on the carpet and land with their books stuffed in their won't-shut-up mouths. Those seekers don't deserve the higher knowledge. He wouldn't give it to them if he had a choice. But the caretaker doesn't decide. If a seeker arrives, it is his job to provide them with sage chi, then provide entry into the vault of the ninth truth. On the rare occasion, a seeker acted unpredictably, and from the moment Murrek asked her first question, the caretaker knew she was different. "What is your name?" she had asked when he first greeted her at the door. No one had asked him his name before. He stood aside and waved her across the threshold. "I am known only as the caretaker." "How do you survive up here all alone?" He stared at her, unblinking and choking on the sigh he typically gave when he closed the heavy rounded door to his mountain retreat. A single room carved into the mountainside enclosed the entirety of the caretaker's existence. Across from the entryway was a metallic black door. To its left was his sleeping area, and to the right, a long wooden table near a fireplace. A folding divider decorated with inlaid rosewood animals separated his meager bed from the rest of the room. Cooking utensils by the ever-burning fire and a covered iron pot hung from a crossbar over the coals. The kettle piped away merrily on the hearth. There was a stool on either end of the table. Shelves mounted by the entryway were crammed full of books and items, unnecessary gifts from those who tried to buy his assistance with the final challenge. Only the shelves that framed the fireplace were orderly, each bearing intricately carved stone animals. "Did I say something wrong?" Murrek continued. Firelight danced on her midnight complexion. The books never spoke of protocol. The caretaker shook cobwebs from his brain. Murrek required his full attention. He straightened and finished locking the door behind her with hands mottled by age spots. He led her across the worn carpet with its geometric meditations to the seat closest to the fireplace. There she might dry out from the damp, perpetual muck outside that refused to turn into a proper rain. "I don't want for much up here," he replied, pleased that she sat down instead of pacing the room. How many others sought a clue among his treasures to help them with the upcoming ordeal? Seekers never shared a meal with the caretaker, so he used the same wooden table to prepare his meals as he did for his stone carving. He swept shavings onto the floor and laid down the tea tray bedecked with a single cup in their place. 3 sage leaves lined the bottom. Murrek adjusted the frame cushion on her stool. "Oh, I'm sure the gods see to your basic needs, but it must be awfully lonely." As he shuffled to the fireplace and retrieved the kettle, the caretaker considered the many seekers who had come and gone. Not one asked after him, a man hunched by time and duty. "Never thought of it much, being alone," he lied. He glanced at her as he poured hot water into the cup. Murrek's expectant gaze unsettled the caretaker, and he overpoured her water. He mopped up the spill with his sleeve, muttering apologies. He had never spoiled the final reflective moments of a seeker of the ninth truth before. Each person had to be prepared before they entered the vaults. Intriguing or not, He wasn't about to take that away from Murrek. When he made her a fresh cup, Murrek accepted it with a shy smile. There's a tithe stone outside my village, the vertical kind the oldest elders used before their children's children started training seekers instead of offering tithes of food. My father said it's too big to dig up for building material. I suspect people cling to their superstitions. She drank slowly, eyes closed, as she relished the experience of each sip. You remind me of that stone. The caretaker grunted, or laughed. Even he wasn't sure which. Because I'm old? He asked, fascinated by the delicate way she balanced her cup in her hands. When she beheld him, her dark brown eyes expanded his universe. Because you're the last. Murrek spoke with such finality that the caretaker couldn't decipher her meaning. Was he the last in her quest, or the last of the 9 caretakers who gave seekers access to the vaults of truth? He wasn't sure he wanted the answer. And then he surprised himself. What do you expect will happen when you go through the seeker's door? Why did he do that? Seekers posed this question of him, not the other way around. He never sought their opinion. Murrek set her empty cup aside on the short table beside her stool. What happens is supposed to happen. She came to her feet and adjusted her jacket. The metallic door swung open, inviting Murrek into the darkness beyond. The smell of sweet flowers and wet stone wafted into the room. At that moment, if the world was capable of swallowing up the caretaker, it would have. He didn't want her to go, to disappear into her fate. Whether or not the gods blessed her with the last truth, he would never see her again. Her calm acceptance disquieted him. She didn't deserve to die. Had any of them deserved to die? Murrek started forward. The caretaker held up his hand, asking her to wait. He rummaged through the items by the front door until he found what he was looking for. Leather-bound and caked with dust, he carried Nestor's real compendium to Murrek. The book felt heavier than it had when the caretaker hid it there centuries ago. Read this first, he said. All of it. Then make your choice. Murrek frowned. But the door! It will stay open so long as you remain here. No other seeker may enter these halls until you either pass through or leave. Why are you doing this? The caretaker laid his hand on her cheek. If he had been a parent, would he have given up his child as Murrek's parents had? How many souls had he led to the power of the gods without asking himself, why are you doing this? He clasped his bony hands in front of himself and shrugged. Perhaps, for the first time, I choose to see the truth. Murrek studied the book, turning the pages with care. The caretaker served her pigeon and leek stew, simple but filling. He watched the open vault door with caution, as if expecting the gods themselves to force Murrek inside by the arm. Hours later, she closed the cover. She sat in quiet contemplation until the light burned low. Her eyes brimmed with tears when she spoke. Caretaker, if I leave, will you come with me to teach the others? The caretaker regretted shattering her beliefs, but it was the only way to save her. He looked over his shoulder at the vault's emptiness and the door through which he had always wanted to pass, but was forever forbidden. He nodded. My name is Prometheus. He took her hand, and she guided him back to humanity. I hope you enjoy that, and you'll find more stories like that, a little darker, a little funnier, and across the range of genre in Inside Voices.